everybody, and welcome to episode 18 of Around the Kingdom, a Disney Magic Kingdoms podcast by a guy who puts the moo in Mulan. Coming to you from the base of Maleficent's tower, I am your host, Stevesquirrel, and returning to co-host this week is good friend of the show, AGeekyChick.
Hey, everybody.
Thank you to each and every one of you for joining us this week as we explore the wonderful world of Disney Magic Kingdoms. Before we get started, I want to give a big shout out to our newest Patreons. Thank you so much, Kathy Clausen and Honeybee. And of course, our recurring Patreons, Carrie Schumann and Anita Anderson. Thank you for your continued support. We're already halfway to our first show goal, so if you want to help support the show, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/AroundTheKingdom. The link will be in the show notes. Also, if you want to be more involved in the show, you can join our Facebook group or follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and now YouTube. It's a great way to stay in touch with me and the community of the show. The links to everything will be in the show notes and can also be found on our show's main Facebook page. The kingdom is always changing, so for reference, this show is being recorded on Tuesday, January 29th at around 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, this is how we always get it off started. We're going to talk about our week in the kingdom. AGeekyChick, what's been going on with you?
Well, obviously, participating in the Tower Challenge and a bit of preparing. I leveled up some characters that I knew were going to be used for it. So I know I did like some Pirates of the Caribbean, some a couple of the, what do you call, Monster Inc. characters, but that's pretty much it. And working on my happiness, because in between events, I always let my happiness fall.
Yeah, and I've noticed it's actually been falling it seems like it's going quicker than it was before, so I've been really on top of that as well. Anyone else you're working on? Do you have any characters left? I remember you finally got Tia. Is there anyone else you're doing?
I can welcome Michael, but I've had him on hold because it's a lot of magic that I'm just not ready to part with. But I think and I forgot about the Cinderella characters, so I still need to get the last, what is it, Drusilla? Anastasia. I don't have everything for her yet.
Oh, okay. How much is what you said, Michael, right? How much is he to welcome?
I think it's like 300 or close to $500,000. I'm pretty sure it's like really high.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Someone told me Shere Khan's like $1 million to welcome. Is that true?
Yeah, it was a lot. I don't know if it was exactly $1 million, but wow. I do remember that it was a lot.
Well, I'll tell you, the Jungle Book storyline took a lot of magic away from me, so I'm just slowly starting to rebuild it now. But I don't think I'll be getting Shere Khan for a while. All right, well, that's cool. I'm glad you had a fun week. We'll talk more about the Tower Challenge in a little bit. For me, my main storyline, and my week was good. I finally got to the point where I fought Shere Khan, and I did defeat him gloriously. I sent out all of my fantastic Jungle Book characters, and it was a cool little cutscene, and I really love the fight scenes, like when you fought Mother Gothel. When you fought any of the main characters, how they kind of like all line up and like they like stand around, they kind of like do their thing and then they wait and the next person does their thing. I remember Mother Gothel. I remember Rapunzel hit her with a frying pan. Like, it was really cool. So it was a fun fight. And so I did defeat him. So then I did a couple of the other quests that you had to do shortly after that. And then boom, welcome Shere Khan quest and welcome Wendy Darling quest at the same time. Wow. I talk about two characters that are hard to collect for and hard to welcome. So they will be kind of sitting and I'll be working on them for a while. But that's good. It's good to slow down the pace a little bit. We've been talking a lot in our Facebook group about the end of the road, and how the end of the road could be in sight. When you finish Peter Pan, it's pretty much it as far as main storyline. So it's not too bad of a thing to slow down a little bit right now. So I did that. As I talked about last week on the show, I did a whole mess load of side quests, and I just had one left for Elastigirl. I did get that plot of land open in Frontierland, so I plopped down Omnidroid City, and which took up almost the whole plot of land. I think I have like 3 concessions that we're able to fit on there as well. And I got her side quest done. So that's what I did as far as that goes. As far as other things and leveling up characters, I definitely was just focusing on the characters I needed to level. And we will talk about a lot more about that in the upcoming segments that we have. I definitely, we all knew that Elastigirl, once, the Tower Challenge hit, that she would be the main character of Chapter 2. So I was able to actually get her up 2 full levels. I got her from 7 to 9.
Wow.
And so that makes a big difference because she's sent out every single time. So I was glad to get that able to be done. Other than that, my lifetime visitors board, for all the people that care out there, is I'm at rank 156,208. I'm really closing in on that 150,000. Let's see if I get it by next week. Cool. So that was our Weeks in the Kingdom. So now we like to turn it over to our co-host to provide a newcomer tip of the week. AGeekyChick, what do you have for the newcomers that might be listening today?
Today I came up with to just get plugged in. I was just thinking about the different information that we've gotten just to help us prepare for the Tower Challenge and in the past few events. And even as a old-time player or long-time player, it's been very helpful to be in either the Reddit, the Facebook groups, or a Discord, somewhere where there's a community and they're discussing and they're sharing information. It's still very, very useful, and I can imagine as somebody new that it would be just a whole lot. I mean, they're sharing links to the wiki, and it's everything that you could need in one place. So definitely get plugged in to the community as soon as listening to this podcast.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really, really awesome newcomer tip of the week. That's never been something mentioned before as far as just like really what you should do. Actually, AGeekyChick has a really cool Discord, which we don't really talk about very much. So make sure you tweet that out. All of your information I always put in my show notes. So check out AGeekyChick's Twitter. And AGeekyChick, I'm commissioning you now to go and tweet out your Discord so that people could join because it's a really cool community as well.
Thank you.
Awesome. So yeah, get plugged in and find out the stuff that you want to know. So thanks for that. So I'm going to put a little disclaimer out right now. I normally haven't done this before. And normally I don't like to do spoilers on this show per se. But there's not like major content spoilers that we're going to be discussing, but more like informational kind of spoilers. But regardless, I want to note right now that we're going to be discussing spoilers in this episode as we discuss the characters as well as some basic information about the upcoming chapters of the Tower Challenge. If you do not want to hear these, I suggest waiting until after Chapter 3 unlocks, and then once it does, then you can begin to listen to this week's episode or continue. Because we will be discussing characters that we believe might be the characters for the events and what we kind of know upcoming. So, spoiler alert! If you want to turn off the show, now is the time to do it.
Get out of here! No.
All right, you're still here. That means that you want to hear what we have to talk about. Cool. Let's move on with the rest of the show. We've got game news coming up right now. So the first thing, and probably the most important piece of game news that we have, is that if you've looked in the gold chests and the content of them, the Disney Magic Kingdom's billboards are now in the gold chests. So make sure you go and unlock all your gold chests so you can get these awesome billboards.
I hear your sarcasm.
All right. Chapter 1 of the Tower Challenge has begun. Dum, dum, dum. The Mulan Tower Challenge has begun, and we had 3 free refreshers to start, which was a nice little gift from Disney Magic Kingdoms. The first chapter and each of the subsequent chapters are going to be 5 days long. So, as everyone knows, cri-kee is the character that we are working on tokens. We were kind of wondering how this would all work, but it's traditionally it's working in the traditional manner of that we will collect tokens for him each chapter. In chapter 1, we will be collecting Cup of Tea. They are 200 event currency each, and you need 35. Chapter 2, you will need lanterns. And lanterns, you will need 30 of them. And they will be, the guess is about 500 EC each. Chapter 3, you'll need cri-kee's ears. You'll need 25 of them. And they are going to be approximately 650 EC each. And then the final purchase price, which is listed right under cri-kee, is another 2,000 more EC for the final welcome. So let's take a breath and let's a second. And so AGeekyChick, what do you think about the cri-kee and his tokens?
It's a lot of event currency. And this is definitely where staying on top of it and maybe being able to have a couple of days or even a day after, collecting like all the teacups, having some time to just get extra currency going into the next chapter. It's really important because that's a lot of currency.
It is.
The amount of tokens, it seems like a lot also, but I kind of just look at it in terms of currency instead of looking at 30, 25. You know what I mean?
Sure. It reminds me, it was the numbers and everything kind of remind me of the last event for the mayor. We were talking then about how it seemed like there was an uptick in the amount of EC needed to complete. And this seems kind of on par, so I don't think they raised the bar at all on this. But yeah, it's a lot. My little piece of advice to throw out there for people is you don't want refreshers when this event is over. They don't convert to currency. Yeah. They don't do anything. So don't kick yourself for ending the event and having 8 refreshers. That's really 2 full runs of event currency. So that can get you, 500, approximately 500 event currency. So use them, don't be afraid to use them. I know that it's traditionally you try to save them for the chapter 3 because you have less characters. So you're going to need to use them more to keep your characters going. But don't be afraid to use them now. So that you have a little buffer room going into the next chapter. Especially because, think about it, in chapter 2, if you only have people that are like level 7, level 8, right? And then you're like, okay, I'm going to use my refreshers now, right? You're using refreshers on level 7 guys, okay? The amount of event currency that you earn doesn't change each chapter. You don't get more event currency in chapter 3 for the same level guys. So use them now. If you got level 10 Mickey and Friends guys and level 10, Toy Story people and use them now. This is the chance where you can really get the most bang for your buck because you want to use them on level 10 characters.
That's a really good advice.
All right. So that is what you need to get cri-kee. As always, though, they do make available for people that don't have them the featured character of each collection for each chapter, as well as an attraction. So in chapter 1, we had Nani and Lilo's house were the 2 that you could purchase. I don't know how much event currency they were because I already have them. They're usually like a couple hundred each, right? Usually like
it's usually not too much.
Like 500, something like that. It wasn't too much, but they make them available so that people who don't have them can purchase them. So I hope that if you didn't have them, you were able to get them and use them to help collect more event currency. Chapter 2 will be Elastigirl and is as the featured character. And the attraction will be Syndrome's 0-point energy rings. That attraction is going to be what you can purchase. It's a really cool attraction. It's a little big, but I really like that attraction. It's a lot of fun. What do you think? Do you like? Is that one of your favorite Incredibles attractions? Or do you rather just have the Incredibles
I like the house with the little kid riding the bike on it. I mean,
Yeah, I always like watching that too. But it's a cool attraction. It's a fun ride.
Yeah.
Chapter 3, you can get Mulan and the training camp. That's what you'll be able to purchase, and that's what I will probably be purchasing. Who am I kidding? I'll be buying legendary chests, so probably not. But that's what will be available. Chapter 3 for you to get. Speaking of legendary chests, there were no Mulan legendary chests. Makes me sad. It was the only character set that I skipped out on during the Christmas sale, and I'm kicking myself for that. Do you have the Mulan characters?
Yeah, I do. I have them all.
Did you get them during the original event that happened, or?
Yeah, during the event. I remember it was a weird event. It was only 2 weeks or something. It was like a little like mini event almost. Because it was only, what, the 3 characters?
Yeah, the 3 characters and a couple of attractions, the training camp. And what are the other attractions for Mulan? Do you know off the top
There's
of your
a
head?
shrine, there's a training camp, and then is it the training, what is it? There's one more. I can't think of it now.
Okay, that's all right.
But I know it's the shrine and something else.
Okay, so yeah, so there's a couple of things, but yeah, it's definitely a small set, so it was something easily for them to improve on and add another character. So cri-kee. So I was really hoping that Mulan legendary chests would be available at the beginning of the event, and they were not. I was hoping that during this whole time I'd be able to be leveling up the Mulan characters, so that I could, my chapter 3 would be a little bit easier, but I'm going to have to do some power leveling once the legendary chests come out, which will probably be at the beginning of chapter 3. Other thing to note is that Mulan's warrior costume and Mulan's comfy costume are not available yet and will not be available until the chapter 3 unlocks. So we won't even be able to start working on them yet. The Mulan's warrior costume was talked about having tokens in ruby chests, and there's no sign of ruby chests yet. So we had the magical chests in this chapter, and they are going away at the end of this chapter. So we'll see what comes next chapter.
Well, we could buy magical chests? I didn't see that.
Yeah, magical chests are available. Actually, I'm going to be talking about that in a little bit, but might as well talk about it now. Magical chests are available, and they contained tokens for the characters that were helpers. So if you wanted, it was an easy way to kind of get tokens for the characters that were helpers right then to level them up faster, since levels are the big thing in the event. They also had refresher in them, and they also had Maleficent coins, aka EC, in them. And they were 25 gems each, or $4.99 US dollars for a bundle. So that was available for purchase, as well as, of course, the Lilo and Stitch legendary chests. All right, so that's kind of the prerequisite stuff. So let's get into what we had for the helpers. So the helpers for this chapter were Toy Story, Cinderella, and then we had our first duo slot, which was a combination of Mickey and Peter Pan. And then we had the Lilo and Stitch, and then, of course, your featured character. So those were your 5 slots. For Toy Story, your helpers were Buzz, Rex, Sarge, Ham, and Bo Peep. For Cinderella, you had Cinderella, Prince Charming, Fairy Godmother, and then, actually, very surprisingly to a lot of people, the 3 new characters, Anastasia, Drizella, and Lady Charmaine. Then we had our first duo slot ever. Very, very cool. And Mickey and Friends and Peter Pan, we had Daisy, Goofy, Pete, Pluto, Tinkerbell, and John Darling. And finally, the Lilo and Stitch slot had Lilo, Pleakley, Angel, Cobra Bubbles, Jumba, and Stitch. And then, of course, Nani. So that is your overview. So, AGeekyChick, what do you think about the different choices for the helpers that we had and the choices of actual characters in each slot? What do you think about the duo slot? Like, give me all your thoughts on this.
Well, I was shocked to see the new Cinderella characters, especially, I mean, I haven't got them leveled up, and there's people probably still working on collecting them. So I was kind of shocked to see them. But it's good to see when new characters are put to use because sometimes you're like afraid, did I spend all this to get this character and then they don't help. So I think that was good that they helped immediately. The duo slot, I thought about, we talked about this, I think was it the last time I was on, or maybe we were just messaging about how the duo slot would be. And so you were pretty much right that they picked some from each. Like I remember we talked about it. You were like, I figured it's going to be like two from there, two from there.
Yep.
And so that's how it is. I mean, I like it. I mean, this time is like all my characters from that duo slot are pretty high level. And I like the concept of putting, you know, Mickey with like Peter Pan, which can be kind of later, you know, John Darling, Tinkerbell. Well, not Tinkerbell, but John Darling. So you have a chance of still having some high level characters mixed in with the lower level.
Yep. Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I think it's a fantastic idea. I think that it really promotes fair, you know, it gives people a shot, especially because like think about it. If you only had, and I'm just gonna say like you didn't have any like you know of a collection. You're like I have none of those guys. How am I ever gonna do it? But they have one Mickey and friend person. They put Pluto in there, right? That's all you need, because you can just use a refresher on him every turn. You know, you can, you know, it makes what you actually need more defined, and it makes it it gives people a shot. It's not just a Peter Pan slot where people are like, great, now I have nobody. Well, everyone has Tinkerbell, but so that's a bad example. But like a Jungle Book slot, right? Like you're like, oh, I don't have Jungle Book. This is useless.
Yeah.
So rather than making it discouraging, I think it's a great idea. I love how they did this. Even though there was a little bug in the game. So in case you haven't noticed, if you log out of your game and log back in, your character from the duo slot disappears. See you later. And it does even show and reflect a change in the EC and points you're getting, but it actually is just a graphical bug and has been confirmed by Gameloft and the devs and everyone there that you actually will be receiving the proper amount of EC and points. And a lot of people have dug into it online in different social media groups and have determined that, yes, it's just a graphical bug. But a lot of people freaked out.
Yeah. I was going to say something. I saw people were like, I'm still not getting the points, but you already have to know that it gives us a range of points that we can earn. So you might be somewhere in there. I don't know if people see just that top number and think they should get that. And then with the glitch, they're thinking that they're not getting what they should.
Right, yeah. But the way that we've actually seen it is that the number would show, like, let's say, like 205.
Yeah.
And then the person would wind up with, like, 230. So we know that they're getting the appropriate amount.
Yeah.
So it's just graphical. Bugs happen. So, all right. So that is what Chapter 1 kind of entailed. Did you feel like you did pretty well with that? Did you feel like it was smooth sailing?
Yeah, I finished chapter 1 today. Well, at least I have everything to finish. I'm going to wait to a video before I collect all the teacups. But yeah, it was pretty good considering over the weekend, like I wasn't just in the game. So I think it's been pretty good. And I still was able to finish it with some time left over.
Awesome. Great. Very cool. And yeah, it's good to have, a little bit of buffer room, like you said, like a half a day, just to kind of, get ahead of it. So good. Awesome. I agree. I did too. I was kind of powering pretty hard through this. So I finished yesterday.
Nice.
And I have a good amount of EC saved up before I'm going into chapter 2. So I'm feeling good so far. But I'm still a little bugged out that I don't have Mulan characters. That's going to hurt me in chapter 3. That's why I'm going hard now. Hopefully to make up for that. So another couple of things to talk about for the event. There were firework sticks walking around that give Maleficent coins just as part of the event. Just, something Gameloft wanted to throw in to say, hey, this is pretty, cool little thing. So every 4 hours, is it 4 hours or 2 hours? It's 2 hours.
I've heard different things.
Yeah, I should probably have this information when I'm coming on the show. Not an expert, guys. Trust me, I'm not an expert. But anyway, there's 3 of them that are walking around every couple of hours. And, I don't know, they're kind of hard to find. They kind of blend in with a lot of stuff. So it makes it kind of an interesting game to play hide and seek with them. So, yeah. But it's you can earn, a couple extra EC. I have a feeling it's going to be 4 going in Chapter 2 that will be walking around each time, and probably 5 in Chapter 3 that will be walking around each spawn.
That would be nice.
Yeah, and the reason I say that is because it's kind of like the same feeling I get with the cursed buildings, where right now you only get, 2 clicks out of them, for extra EC. And then the next chapter, they up it to like 3 or 4, and then the next chapter it goes to 5. So I have a feeling that's how it will be. Okay, also, the side quests have started, and if you have Lilo and Stitch characters, you can begin them to earn extra EC. I personally have not started them yet, because here is a big piece of advice. You do not have to do them in Chapter 1. They will stay around for the entire event. So, for example, the first part of the quest required Nani. And I'd rather her be sent and going out for tower challenges. So, I'm just going to hold off on Lilo and Stitch stuff until Chapter 2 begins, when I don't need them anymore. Did you do the side quests?
I did, and you get a good, at least 1,000 Maleficent coins by going through them. You needed Nani, Lilo, and I think Jumba. Is that the name of the body, the FBI?
That's Cobra Bubbles.
Cobra. I think those are the ones that you needed. And you get a lot, though. So you might want to, I would look to see, like, how much coins is she adding to you? Because it's only like a 2-hour quest, if that. So I would see how much coins that she's giving you that round versus letting her go do the quest and see if maybe you'll get a little bit more. But, I mean, it's no rush,
Right.
since you can still do them.
She's giving me 0 in Chapter 2.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm going to hold off. I just think that it's just because I just keep sending them out. Keep sending them out. So I'd rather just wait and then go on. A lot of people get annoyed too. They're like, "Man, I just sent my character out for the tower challenge. I was so excited it began, and now I can't send her out." But yeah, so that's it. So side quest starts. So I assume that side quests for the Incredibles will begin in Chapter 2. I will be waiting to do them till Chapter 3, and that's my little piece of advice for you as well.
I always at least wait until I'm done with the collecting the tokens and the leaderboard points. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, sure.
And once I got those prizes, then I'll be like, okay, I can afford to let them go do something.
Let him go. Let him go. Okay. This is a Disney podcast, by the way.
Yeah. So that's a lot.
All right. So where am I here? Okay. So another thing that we got is that the Reflections of China attraction is now available in the Platinum chests. The Reflections of China helps with refresher tokens. What? Who doesn't love more refresher tokens? I wish I got the Reflections of China, but I did not. Every 6 hours is the drop rate for it, so you can click on it every 6 hours and pray to get a refresher token. I hope that all you out there get some good luck and get this in the Platinum chests. It looks really cool. I did get confirmation this is permanent content. This is not going anywhere. Obviously, after the Tower Challenge is over, it won't be dropping refresher tokens, at least for this event. Who knows? If it drops refresher tokens for every Tower Challenge, this is like the best attraction ever.
Yeah.
But I was informed by Gameloft that these the Reflections of China might disappear out of Platinum chests for just a short period of time between when the Tower Challenge ends and the next patch, content patch comes out. It's probably just coded that way, so don't freak out if it goes away after the event. It will be back. It is meant to be permanent content. Okay, so another thing to talk about. There's so much to talk about this week. This is like an all news kind of week. So
Yeah.
the refresher helpers. There are quite a few people that get refreshers for you. The refresher helpers are Jesse, who has a 4-hour quest, Bullseye, who has a 4-hour quest, Woody, who has a 6-hour quest, and then you could also get them in the magical chests, which I mentioned before. You could get them in the Reflections of China, and Mickey in his lunar costume. He has a 2-hour quest. I do not have the lunar costume because I did not get those Mulan chests. So I don't have Mickey, and I don't have the Reflections of China. So I was down to 3 refresher helpers. Do you have you have the lunar costume, right?
Yeah, I have the costume, and that helps. The every 2 hours dropping it. I don't have the Reflections of China though. I have the worst luck. I'm still trying to get the ice rink in the platinum chest. So.
Yes, me too. The ice rink is the ever eluding, and I still have Splash Mountain in there too. Have you opened any platinum chests since the Reflections of China came out?
One, I think.
Yeah,
I had a free one.
I had one also. Yeah, I had one sitting in my bank, waiting for this special moment. And it was actually it was the best of the worst. I got that the robot statue.
Oh yeah,
the golden robot statue. I don't remember the name of it, but he's a lot of elixir. That should be his name. Lot of elixir. So I have him, but so he's better than like an antler trophy, for example.
Yeah.
But okay, so here's the thing: you want refresher tokens. They are your life in this. And so make sure you check out our social media, because I have posted, I got this information from Reddit, so check out Reddit, but I've posted a screenshot of all of the conflicts that the refresher quests have. So these are the people not to level because they would cause a conflict with the refreshers. For example, Elastigirl, unfortunately, I've leveled her anyway because her mask token is a conflict with Woody. Yeah. So I have a whole list. So check out our Facebook page, our Facebook group, or Twitter, and they're all at ATK Podcast, and you can find these lists. They're very valuable. So that you know who you can and who you can't safely level up. Because you can keep leveling people. This is not the type of event where you need to like stop leveling, like during those main events. You can keep leveling people. Just know which ones not to. Okay, let's move on. Lots of stuff. Okay, so for this chapter, there were rewards for points. When you send people out of the Tower Challenge, you earn points, and you also earn EC. The points gave you different rewards at various levels, and the big prize was the Sand Pail Sundae stand for 27,000 points. So you got coins along the way at different intervals, so it's always nice to get bonus coins. Yeah. And then you got the Sand Pail stand. I assume you got that since you completed the event. What do you think about the Sand Pail Sundae stand?
It's cute. I love the concession stand, so I'm always happy to get a new one.
You are a sucker for those concession stands.
Yes.
They're growing on me. But some of them I can just be like, meh, whatever. But they are definitely growing on me. I definitely like to see the kids with some of them around.
Yeah.
So also so on top of the rewards that you would get, there's also your leaderboards. And for the leaderboards last for the entire chapter, from the beginning of the chapter to the end of the chapter. And the prize is always the grand prize is the Maleficent horn stand. So ranks 1 through 50 you get a Maleficent horn stand. They get 1,000 Maleficent coins and 2 refreshers. Ranks 51 to 150 get 1,000 coins and 2 refreshers. Rank 151 to 750, they get different various coin amounts decreasing from level but they all, in those ranks, you get 2 refreshers. And then below 750 and down, just get different various coin levels. So you really want to at least be in that top 750 and get your 2 refreshers. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Because they are very, very valuable. And the coins, of course, too. How are you faring on this leaderboard?
I'm 214, which I was kind of surprised to see that, considering I started so late in the like on Friday. I was just late, and then I barely was logging in on the weekend, so I thought I was going to be like really low. So I was surprised, like, or high, I guess. I don't know, but I'm 214.
That's good.
Yeah. I'll get some refreshers if I can keep that up.
Yeah, I've been bouncing around in like the high 100s, low 200s. So I'd really like to finish top 150 if possible, because that's 250 coins. That makes a big difference. So, but I'd be very happy just getting in the top 500 and whatever it is. I just want my 2 refreshers. Really, what it comes down to it.
Yeah,
and of course as many coins as I can get, because that's just less people to send out. So that's it. So that's what you have. So there are no mini events. We sometimes talk about mini event of the week. There are no mini events during during tower challenges. The leaderboards are occupied with your points. So basically, each chapter is its own mini event. And so you will see this in Chapter 2. We'll see this in Chapter 3. My experience has always been, if you want the horns, get them in Chapter 1. They are the easiest to get in Chapter 1. I know this is too late because this show's going to be coming out. I've said it before, but at least for future reference, Chapter 1 is always the easiest to get them because the top 50 get the horns. I think round 2, I think it's only like top 10.
Really?
That get the horns, so it makes it much harder. So try to get it Chapter 1. That's what I did last time, and I got my horns, and I was like setting alarms and like waking up in the middle of the night. It was just
yeah.
I got the horns. That's all I have to say. I don't have to worry about that again. One and done for those. All right, so now we're moving on. So let's get your final thoughts on Chapter 1.
It wasn't that bad. It didn't feel as like easy as some of the other ones. And I don't know if it's just the mix of characters for me, because I know some of those aren't maxed out for me. So that could have been what it was. What is it? My Lilo and Stitch characters aren't maxed out. And I can't remember the other ones. But it wasn't bad. I finished with time extra, so I feel okay.
27,000 points wasn't terrible to get for the Sand Pail Sunday stand. What we do know, without being spoilers, is that the big reward for points in Chapter 2 is Jack's Nom Nom Cookie Stand. Love saying that.
I want that. That's like the first incredible themed concession stand.
Yes.
I have to have that.
Yes. We're jumping from 27,000 points to 43,500 points needed to get that. So it is going to be very difficult to get. And then what we do know is the rewards for Chapter 3 are at 9,000 points, the target dummy decoration that they had shown in the live stream. And then at 50,000 points, the bacon and egg stand. That's what I call it. The bacon and egg stand, the smiley face, is the reward. So, here's where the spoilers begin. Now, for most people that watch or listen to this, Chapter 2 will have already begun because it begins tomorrow morning. It's 10 o'clock Eastern now. It begins in exactly 12 hours. So, this information that we have is from our famous Chinese hackers that we talk about pretty much every episode. So this information is not confirmed, but usually very reliable. And you will probably know the answers to at least all this in Chapter 2 now, so we're going to talk about it. The helpers for Chapter 2 that we were told about are going to be Monsters, Inc. And then we're going to get a duo slot of Pirates of the Caribbean and Peter Pan. Then we're going to get a triple slot with Mickey and Friends, Toy Story, and WALL-E. And then The Incredibles will be featured with the feature character Elastigirl. The helpers that we have been leaked or told about are, from Monsters, Inc., Mike, Sully, Roz, Randall, and Boo. So no real surprises there. That's pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah.
So then we go into the Pirates of the Caribbean and Peter Pan duo slot. You have Elizabeth, Will, Captain Barbossa, Tia Dalma, and Captain Hook. That is a very interesting collection of characters.
Yeah. I just got Tia, so you know she's not leveled up that much for me.
Yeah, I leveled her up yesterday after I had gotten this information. So she's, still pretty low. I think she's like at 5.
Yeah.
And then Hook, as much as I complained about getting him in the Sapphire chest, I have him at like 6. So
nice.
So at least it's an extra person. And then so Elizabeth, Will, I have both at 9. Barbossa I have pretty high, I think at 8. So it's not too bad. All right, then we have our triple slot. We have Buzz from Toy Story, Goofy from Mickey and Friends, and then, of course, Eve and WALL-E make their appearance. So that's a very interesting slot as well. Again, for the people who always say the Eve WALL-E slot stinks, now they have other options to put in there. They have Buzz and Goofy. So what's your thoughts on the first triple slot?
That's interesting. I like the combination, though. Like Mickey and Toy Story, both of those are. WALL-E, I mean, there's only 2 for WALL-E, so I'm glad that it's not just the WALL-E set by itself, because that was always a struggle with just those 2. Yeah. So I think it's a good thing.
That slot, to me, was why I had to save refreshers, because you just had to just keep using refreshers because you only had 2 people in the slot. And that's really, really hard to only have 2 characters in one slot. So I think it's I think it's a very cool concept. I'm loving this change to the Tower Challenge.
Yeah.
So, okay, and then the Incredibles. The featured character is Elastigirl, and the other Incredibles that supposedly will be being used are Mr. Incredible, Dash, Frozone, Jack, Violet, and Syndrome. So lots of Incredibles to use. And I have them all pretty high level. They're all pretty cool. So no big surprises there. So that's pretty much what we know for Chapter 2. We don't know what the leaderboard event rewards will be. Like I said, usually it's like ranks 1 through 10 get the Maleficent horn stand. But we will have to wait and see. So what are your thoughts on Chapter 2 and the Chapter 2 helpers? I know that you did a video on this stuff today, right? On the channel.
Yeah, this morning.
Yeah, so what's all your thoughts on Chapter 2?
I feel good. I need to level up some characters, but most of them, I had people that were, 7 and up at least. So it's not too bad, but I probably will still go in tonight and maybe early tomorrow level up a couple of characters. But I feel good. Like the Mickey and Friends Toy Story slot, I feel good about that. The Monster Inc. one, I'm good. What is it? The Pirates of the Caribbean and Peter Pan. I don't know. Tia, she's low. And really Barbossa. And then, I don't know about that. Just that, all of them. All of them are low. No, at least, but I don't know. I'll just use refreshers.
Well, you have to, Elizabeth and will have to be good rank for you, right?
Probably like a 7.
Really?
I mean, that's not bad.
They got stuck at 6 for like a billion years, and then they finally get to go to 10, and you just give them one level?
They're 7. They're 7.
That's so mean of you.
Like, I don't know, like, I'm the worst person, like, with leveling. Like, I don't know, I've been playing the game now, but I'm terrible. All of my characters are, like, under-leveled. And people are always like, Kiki, what are you doing?
I never have downtime with my leveling. I always have someone going.
Well, it's because like during the events, I'm like, I'm just gonna relax, and I'm like, I'm gonna level people up, and then like you look at my calendar, I got all these pink check marks from having to recover and not leveling anybody up.
All right, cool. So that's chapter 2. So like I said, this is information that we got from the Chinese hackers. When you hear this, you'll either know that we were completely wrong or that they had it right. Again, this is all speculation.
Yeah.
That being said, we now have the same information for chapter 3. So this is really valuable for you if you're listening now, and chapter 2's already started, because what you can do is really start on working on getting these characters leveled up and focusing on them so that you have the biggest advantage going into the Tower Challenge. So here's who we have as helpers for chapter 3. We have Zootopia and Mickey and Friends as a duo slot. There's Goofy, Judy, Nick, Flash, and Chief Bogo. They are your first duo slot. The next is a quad slot. What? Quad slot. 4 stories, 1 character each. You have Cinderella, Tangled, Sleeping Beauty, and Peter Pan. And the characters are Cinderella, Aurora, Rapunzel, and Wendy. It's Girls Club in slot 2.
I like that, though.
Yeah, so it's a quad slot. Then we have another quad slot. Craziness. We have Mickey and Friends, Toy Story, Tangled, and Jungle Book. So again, they're taking later game stuff than they've ever put in the Tower Challenge before. There's never been Jungle Book.
Yeah.
And they're putting it in there as an option with other things. So very cool in that respect. You have Pete, Mother Gothel, Zurg, and Shere Khan. Wow, Shere Khan. That's late Jungle Book. That's not even an early Jungle Book. That's the end of Jungle Book.
That's who you need to welcome.
He is not getting. I put on Twitter. I said he is not being welcomed by chapter 3, and that's fine. So that is it. So again, when we talked about what we do know, which is not a leak, which is the target dummy at 9,000 points, and then the bacon and eggs smiley face stand at 50,000 points. Holy moly, 50,000 points! Whew. With these characters, that is going to be a real achievement.
You might have to lose some sleep.
I think that would be like the real achievement of this whole thing is to get that. But okay, AGeekyChick, take it away. What do you think about the characters? What do you think about quad slots? What do you think about all this stuff? What do you think about Girls Club? Tell me all the things.
I think that I am definitely one who will benefit from this being like set up like this, because each set I have somebody that's level 10, where like in chapter 2 I'm like, I don't have somebody each. So if it came to it, especially it's down to chapter 3, I could just use refreshers instead of using somebody who was like 2 or 3. I don't think anybody is 2 or 3, but you get what I'm saying. Like, so I think I'm definitely going to benefit from that. I like the quad. That's crazy, but I like it. For the Cinderella, like all the girls, I think it's fun. It'd be fun to see them do like themed, like where they pick like the villain from each one, or princesses. That's kind of fun. I like that.
Well, isn't that really what the next slot is when you think about it? Is the villains Pete, Mother Gothel, Zurg, and Shere Khan?
It is.
It is.
It didn't even click. Probably because I don't see Pete as a villain, but I guess we did have to defeat Pete. But...
yeah, he's kind of. You had to defeat Pete. You had to defeat Mother Gothel. You had to defeat Zurg, and you had to defeat Shere Khan. Everyone who's gotten beaten down. Yeah, I think it's very fun, very cool on the theme. I didn't pick up on that until you said it. And then there's of course Girls Club. So I don't know what Zootopia and Mickey and Friends would be.
I guess it's just like animals.
Animals! Yes! Yeah. Animals! Wow, there's a theme. Wait, let's go back to chapter 2 for a second.
Was there a theme? Well, sort of. Pirates of the Caribbean and Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not
Mickey
as much
Friends,
as
Toy Story, Wall-E, meh. Chapter 3, though, they did a good job. That
Yeah.
was very sneaky. Very sneaky. I like that. What I forgot to mention, of course, was that in Chapter 3, I mean, the obvious is that the next 2 slots are going to be Mulan, which will be the other 2 characters, the only other 2 characters in
Li
there.
Shang and Mushu.
Shang and Mushu are going to be that, so it's only going to be 2 characters in that slot. And then you'll have Mulan in the featured character slot. So that's going to be tough to only have those 2 characters. And it's going to get tougher when we talk about what's going to be happening next. Okay, so that is Chapter 3. Let's talk about that before we move on. What's your thoughts on 2 quad slots and all of these fantastic themes?
I feel good about it. I like the themes. It adds something kind of fun to it. Like as we're sitting here talking about it, probably not when I'm in the stress of Chapter 3, I won't care. But now it's fun to look at. I think that the 50,000 sounds like a lot, but I would like to see somebody who was like really on top of it and see what kind of points they have right now. Like I have 30,000 something. And so
I'm going to check right now.
Okay.
I have 50,523 points.
There you go.
So,
but I mean, it might be harder.
I was working hard, but yes, it's going to be harder because I was able to send everyone out. So what you really have to do is like I'm not going to have Shere Khan, so there's going to be a lot more refreshers to do this. It's possible, but it's going to take a lot more refreshers. That's what it comes down to. So don't slack on getting your refreshers. They are the most important part of the whole tower challenge. Okay.
And I guess maybe even take advantage when that legendary chest, maybe you can get Mickey's lunar costume if it's in there.
Yep. So honestly, what I have to do is I have to get the legendary chests, and I just have to bang out levels as fast as possible. That's what I have to do. Yeah. When whoever I'm not sending out, I just have to send out for levels. I just have to figure out how I can possibly level them as fast as I can.
Need like a leveling plan.
But honestly, at level, like if I send them out, so you have your next day rolls over, your next day refreshes. Send them out at 10. Send Mushu out at 2 or at 12. It's not worth sending out a level 2 character with a refresher. It's just not worth it. If you're being conservative with the refreshers. So probably that's just when I'll be going out and leveling as fast as possible, and like maybe I can get them to 4 or 5 by day 3. So we'll have to see. It will be interesting. If you want to follow the chronicles and adventures of me leveling like a madman, check me out at Twitter at ATK Podcast, Facebook.com/ATK Podcast, and join our Facebook group inside there as well. And see the madness that happens. Because it's going to get even madder. Because the final leak that we have is about Mulan's comfy costume, which is what Gameloft said in the live stream is going to be the ultimate prize, the final grand finale prize of the Tower Challenge. What we did know and what they did tell us is you're going to need cri-kee in order to get it. So, here's what the speculation is, in quotes, of what you'll need for Mulan's comfy costume. You will need 8 Lotus hairpiece tokens. And you'll get those by doing quests from various characters, mostly Mulan. They're going to need to be level 2 for most of them, or level 4. You're going to need 8 glitched fabrics, but you're not going to get them the way you got them before with the Wreck-It Ralph characters. There's a couple of various characters. The Princess Dressing Room will drop them, but mostly Mulan characters will be getting those glitched fabrics as well. Finally, you're going to need 6 comfy fabrics, and the only person that gets them is cri-kee. And it's a 4-hour quest.
Oh my goodness.
So, if you think about it, that's 6 hours. I'm sorry, 4 hours for 6. So, 4, 8, 12, 16, 24 hours. So literally the fastest you could do with a 100% drop rate would be 1 day. So, which means you would need cri-kee in at least only 4 days, because this is only a 5-day event. So this is what has the most people talking right now.
Yeah.
Because you need to not only, most people are, like, it's down to the wire for getting the character that they're put into the tower challenge. The mayor I was down to the wire for the mayor. I didn't have room to spare, really. I wasn't just sitting around at the end of the tower challenge with 3 days to spare twiddling my thumbs. And the amount of EC needed for this isn't changed. It's not like they reduced the amount of EC and you could save like a whole bunch up and like chapter 3 would start and it'd be like, boom, I have cri-kee. So this is going to be hard. Really, really hard. I reached out to Gameloft to see, is Mulan comfy costume, is that permanent content? Like, will it be there after the 5 days? Like, and you just need cri-kee, so like if you don't complete the tower challenge, then you can't get it because you don't have cri-kee. I have not heard back yet, so when I do, I will let everyone know on my social media. But the general consensus and biggest guess is that no, you will need to get this comfy costume before the event ends in the 5-day window. What do you think about that?
I'm pretty nervous because I think I cut it kind of close with the mayor too. I can't remember. I feel like I did, but I can't remember if it was because I was like being lazy or if it was just really hard. You know what I mean? So I'm a little nervous. I know like that drop rate, and we've seen it, and it can be all over the place. No matter what your happiness is, it's still a chance, and you could just always fall in that chance of not getting it. I know how my luck is, so I'm a little bit worried about that. With the 4-hour quest time, that's long. And it's really like, it's painful when you go through a long quest and you don't get it. I even know one of those quests, I think it's Kristoff has a 24-hour. I saw that for one of those tokens, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, one of the tokens is a 24-hour Kristoff. I think they just put that in there to be nice, or maybe get a laugh.
Yeah.
But yeah, you need the Mulan characters. If you don't have the Mulan characters, all 3 of them, you're not getting the comfy costume. So.
And then you need the Mulan characters to get cri-kee. So you have to be careful with like, well, I don't even know if we'll be able to start collecting the tokens for Mulan while we're still trying to get cri-kee.
Yeah, my guess is that after you get cri-kee,
that's when it unlocks.
You would get like a quest, like in the top left corner, like when it usually like Mickey gets the exclamation point over his head. Like that's when it would unlock, and then you'd have a quest, and it would say, "Oh, Mulan's tired. Why don't you give her a break and get her into some costume or whatever?" You know what I mean? Like, so that's my guess. I don't think that it's just gonna suddenly. I mean, but technically though, when you look at the unlock for it, it says that it unlocks when the challenge begins. So
that just means that it's unlocked, but you still have to trigger it.
That's what I think. Yeah, it says available in 5 days and 11 hours. So that's when chapter 3 unlocks. So there she is right there. So yeah, this is going to be very interesting to say the least, as far as that goes. Okay, so that is it. That's your tower challenge basically broken down. Our next 2 shows, well, the next show that we have, which will be next week, chapter 2 will be done, and we'll already be into the middle of chapter 3. We'll almost be done because we're recording on Tuesday and we normally record Wednesdays. Yeah. So we'll be almost done with the event. So it'll be interesting to kind of get our thoughts on how it goes and see how it goes from there. But that's it. So final summary of the of the tower challenge, AGeekyChick?
It's going to be a lot of work, and definitely going to have to stay on track with logging in those every 2 hours, putting people on quests. Refresher tokens, like you've been saying, are going to be insanely important.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, when I think about it, gemming might be something that needs to be done. If you only have 5 days to get the comfy costume embedded with the needing to get cri-kee in chapter 3, we might have to just gem through some characters to get the EC as fast as possible to get cri-kee.
So where would you recommend using the gems to finish the attack on Maleficent's tower? Because that's that's only 2 hours. So what is that, 16 gems to skip that? Or what would you skip through?
Yeah, I would just skip through getting enough EC to get cri-kee.
Yeah.
And just keep getting, you send your guys out, gem it. It's only 8 gems.
8, yeah. But the thing is, the more you use that, the quicker you're going to refresh tokens if you have them or not.
Yeah, you're going to fly through them.
But you can gem to get those also. You can gem to refresh.
You could gem to do that. So ideally, you just want to have 500 billion refreshers and just gem through as fast as possible. Because the nice thing about gemming through the tower challenge is you're going to get what you want every time. You know what I mean? Like when you gem characters to try to get something, you don't always get the drop.
Yeah, that's true.
With the tower challenge, you're always going to get those coins. You're always going to get those points.
Yeah.
So if you're going to use gems to do anything, I would say the beginning of chapter 3 would be when you want to do it. Because you want to get enough coins for cri-kee as soon as possible. Or even if you have better characters and you finish chapter 2 early, you might even just want to bang out gems. Like if you have a whole bunch of level 10 characters, you're going to get more bang for your buck. At the end of chapter 2, I would just use refresher tokens and bang out a whole bunch of EC so that when chapter 3 unlocks, you can unlock cri-kee super fast. Those are the 2 points that I would do it.
Are you going to go use some refresh tokens tonight and skip through some stuff?
I might. Now that I'm feeling the pressure. Big note. When a chapter ends, and on the next day, so tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., and then again when chapter 3 unlocks, if you have characters that are already on their way, they get nothing. You don't get any points for them. So if you send characters out 1 hour before the day refreshes, and then the day refreshes, and you spent refresher tokens on them, you're getting nothing for it. So if you're not there at least 2 hours prior to that, then don't bother sending anyone out because they're going to get you nothing. So be careful. All right. So again, that is it. Now we'd move on into the event of the week. Like I said before, there is no event of the week. The event of the week is the individual chapters and their respective leaderboards. So I hope everyone had a good time and does really good on their leaderboards, gets their refresher tokens, and maybe some hat stands. If you get a hat stand, we'd love to see it. Show us it. You can get to us at AGeekyChick, at ATK Podcast. We want to see it on Twitter, on Facebook. Let's see what those stands do. Let's see the kids wearing the hats. Yes. That's what I want to see. Okay. And so now the next segment we're going to do, which I would normally do, is it worth it? But I'm going to skip that for this week. We had a lot of news. The show is very long due to that. So we double dipped last week and we did both RC Racers and the Toy Soldier Parachute Ride. So we're going to skip Is It Worth It this week. And we will get back to that next week, I promise. But we're just going to, due to time, we'll skip by that for this week. Now everyone's favorite jingle. Feature report. Feature report. Feature report. Feature Report is a segment where we talk about an idea or feature we'd like to see implemented into the game. We had 2 from last week that we're going to get to this week, and I think there are some awesome ideas. So the first one comes from Blake. Blake says, hey, so we get rides and concession stands, but what if we got restaurants too, like the Blue Bayou, or some other iconic places to eat? So what do you think?
I think that'd be fun. That'd be cute. I mean, would the kids come out with food still? I think that is a cute idea.
Yeah, I like it too. You could have Be Our Guest, which is basically Bee's Castle. But you could have different really cool themes. There's a whole bunch of really cool different themed stuff at Epcot. There's a Nemo seafood place, which is really twisted if you think about it. There are some other cool places that I love, though, that they do have the turkey leg concessions, because that is one of my favorite things to get. But it would be cool. I like that. Even like the Mickey.
We have Be Our Guest restaurant. We do have that. The Be Our Guest restaurant in the game.
We do? Where's that?
It's this one. I mean, I don't know if you can see it. It's that one.
Oh, we do. That's right. I just got that from Beauty and the Beast, so you have to excuse me. I didn't know. See, this is why we're not experts. Don't ever say that you think we're experts or I'm an expert. I don't know anything. I'm just here telling you what I think I know.
I wasn't sure. I did before I said anything. I made sure I was.
That's cool. And then we have there's Gaston's Pub, but there are other cool places that they could add. Even like the theme stuff, like Chef Mickey's, right?
Yeah.
Chef Mickey's is a cool place to eat. They have some of like the character dress up places. So yeah, I like the idea. I think it's cool. They already have Be Our Guest, so don't listen to me. Or they did listen to me, just in the future, in the past. All right. So thank you, Blake, for that. And then from Kelly, when a character is home, there's a circle that says drops tokens. How about taking that one step further by letting us click on the circle and a pop-up shows what the tokens are that they can collect?
I love that. I love that. Yeah.
I'm a sucker and a glutton for punishment. I have nobody home. Maximus was the lone guy that was sitting there for a while, but I took him out because he was really lonely. But I have to go through like 100 and God knows how many characters every time that, like, every 2 hours or 4 hours or whatever I send them out for. It's like 2 hour, 2 hour, 2 hour, 2 hour, 2 hour. It's tough, but you get so much more magic than having them set at home. I have seen them at home, and I've seen that collects tokens, and then I had to pull them out to see it. And it was like, one of their, like, the generic tokens that, like, don't really matter,
Yeah.
Like pirate flags, for example. So, yeah, I think that's a great idea as far as pop-ups showing that stuff. Do you have anything from the questions that were submitted that looked like it might be a good feature report we could throw in real quick?
No, I didn't have any features. It was more of just questions.
Okay, cool. All right, so if you have a feature report you'd like to see implemented in the game, please write in using any of our various social media platforms and let us know. Your idea could be on next week's show. All right, so now we move on into Around the Community, a place to highlight some awesome content created by DMK fans. Last week, we introduced Tom Wright to everybody. Tom Wright is on the Disney Magic Kingdom's, different Disney Magic Kingdom's Facebook groups, and he is a really cool content creator. He creates concepts for expansions, and last week we did Pinocchio, and it was awesome. So this week we're going to take a week off from that because we've had so much to talk about, and I don't want to keep the show too long. But next week we will be back with another awesome concept by Tom Wright. I am looking to try to get Moana. Everyone always asks what my personal next thing that I'd like to have added to the game would be, and I always say Moana. I've seen it about 600,000 times with my kid. Squirrely loves it. So I would love to see it. So he showed me a rough draft of it. We'll get to that next week. But it's actually not a full... it's not like a full expansion, but kind of just like a little addition set. You know what I mean? It's not a full event. It's more like an expansion. So it's cool. It's really cool the way he did it, but he wanted to finish it up. Next week, we're going to be highlighting Moana. And awesome, Tom Wright. Thank you so much for all your help. All right, let's move on into the community questions. We have a couple of questions from the community, and I always like to answer questions from the community because this show is focused on you guys. You are the ones that make this happen. So let's get to it. AGeekyChick, take it away.
All right, this one's from William. What do you guys think about only having 5 days to get all hats and then only being able to use him to get the Mulan fabrics needed to unlock Mulan's comfy costume? Yeah, that'll probably be hard, is his little response with emojis. What do I think? Yeah, it's going to be hard. It really is. And I don't think when I first looked at it, I had really grasped it until sitting here talking today about it, during the show, when I realized like 5 days is not a lot, and but it's a whole lot of time for a bunch of stuff to go wrong.
Yeah, it is. There's definitely a whole bunch of time for things to go wrong. I think I've pretty much said what I need to say as far as I'm completely nervous and bugging out.
Yeah.
Bugging out, no pun intended. Ha!
Freaky. It's a bug.
He's a bug. Anyway. Yeah, so thank you, William, for your question. Hopefully we all can get it done. All right, I'll take this one from Elliot. What are your thoughts on improving the social aspect of the game? Maybe you visit your friends' parks and you're able to collect magic in them. I love the idea of expanding the social aspect of the game. I never was around for the time when you did connect to Facebook that you could like go to your friends' parks. I actually for the first time just noticed that I could see my friends' parks. So yeah, I think it would be awesome because it's a single player game. And yes, I'm a content creator because I put out social media, I create the show. But there's most of the millions and millions and millions of players that play aren't doing this. And so it would be cool if they could go and show their parks to their friends, like without having to record it on iOS and send it to them or somehow recording and taking screenshots and things. Like it would be cool to like explore other people's parks, see the cool things they have. Like or the one of us, would go around and be like, "Oh, you got the Maleficent stand? That's awesome." And just being able to display stuff and wanting to put stuff out. I think that would really be an awesome part of the game, and I feel like it's such an amazing feature that's missing. So I would love that. What about you? What do you think, AGeekyChick?
Yeah, I miss it. I remember when we could go to each other's parks and you could tap like 3 or 4 rides and get a little bit of magic. Like it wasn't really worth the magic, but it was worth the experience of going to your friends' parks and seeing it. And like you said, as a content creator, it made it easier for us to be able to see what our community was making and be able to connect with them. The only thing I don't want to see is like guilds. Like it's a single player game, and that's what I enjoy about it. Leaderboards are fine. It adds a little bit of competitiveness and being able to like visit our friends, but I don't want to have to be in a guild that I see sometimes they add to mobile games, and now I have to do this in order to get, a certain character that only comes with participating. And again, like I don't want to see that kind of thing added. I still want it to be where I control my experience, if that makes sense.
Right, and like have like in-game chat and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, no, I understand. That makes it hard, and like guild levels and things. Yeah, no, I hear you. I do like that it's a single-player game, but I think it would be cool to be able to show stuff off. Thank you, Elliot, for the question. All right, moving on. From Morgan, how do you feel going into the second chapter? I always am curious to hear about the thoughts about having lower-level characters moving into a new chapter. So, I mean, we kind of discussed this before, but I feel pretty good going to the second chapter. I have a lot of EC staved up, and I'm kind of just working really hard on chapter 1. And I'm going to just keep trying to just play hard, you know. With what's going on in chapter 3, it's going to be madness. So you got to play hard these first 2 chapters. What do you think?
I think with the mix of characters, I have more. I think I have more lower level characters for chapter 2 than from chapter 1 or what chapter 3 looks like it's going to be. So I think I'll have to work a little bit harder. But I think I should be okay.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Morgan. So we have a little bit of time, so let's answer a couple more things from AGeekyChick's barrel of questions here. So, all right. So David Pacelli wants a shout out. What's up? What's up, David? Renata also wants a shout out, and I think that you had written back to her about if she had some money to use in the game. That's what our that's what the Is It Worth It segment is all about. So if you are new to my show, just go ahead and listen. We did it in chronological order for the most part. So go ahead and give a listen to the Is It Worth It segments. You can skip around. You don't have to listen to the whole show. And we talk about each individual ride. Well, actually not ride, but we talk about the characters. We're starting to work on rides now. So you can get an idea of what we think for who you should purchase. Michael B. says, will there be an event currency bundle? What do you think?
I don't know. I don't think they usually do event currency bundles in Tower Challenge. I haven't seen that.
No, I don't remember that happening in a Tower Challenge either. So I don't expect that to come up. So sorry, Michael, but just keep busting your butt and stay up all night. Strategies from the has two strategies for Tower Challenge and how to spend gems cleverly. Talked about that earlier. I think for this Tower Challenge, end of chapter 2, early chapter 3, to get cri-kee as fast as possible is going to be your best way to spend your gems. You agree?
Yeah, and I like what you mentioned about whatever chapter you have the highest level or chapter is your strongest set of characters. It does, like, nothing's going to change. You're going to need that currency. You know, it doesn't change from chapter. So wherever your strongest set is, that'd be the best time to just use refreshers and get as much currency as you can.
Yep, totally agree. Okay, Neem the Meme. What's the best way to be a no money spending player? My advice to you is patience. This game is going to go a lot slower for you than someone who spends money. Don't expect to complete events. Don't expect, or events, maybe. You know, you can do events. Don't expect to complete Tower Challenges. They have a lot of premium characters in them. They have a lot of stuff. The point of the Tower Challenge for no money spending player, at least early on in your game, is that you can get one character from each set, and you can get an attraction, and you need to be humble and be like, I'm good with that. I honestly think it's going to go slower for you. You're not going to get everything. You're not going to have the premium sets. You know, like if you're starting now, you're not going to have the Mulan. You're not going to have the Incredibles. You're not going to have Lilo and Stitch. So it's just going to be hard. So just accept the fact that you're going to have fun in the game, but it's going to go slow. But everything is available.
And I would say that if you're not spending any money, like, you're getting gems just from like leveling and watching videos. So it's kind of like almost like a set amount. So like the Is It Worth It segment is like really important. Like you have to be very wise, I guess, about where you spend your gems, because you're only going to it's going to take a long time to build that up. And so you want to make the best decisions. And maybe it would be looking at what characters that you see, like Pluto or somebody that's always popping up in tower challenges to set you up in the future. So be very, like, I would not spend gems just to speed up timers. Like you said,
Never.
just be patient and save those gems. And I would really say characters over attractions if you're not spending any money.
Yep. Absolutely. And
And
never, ever spend gems to speed up quests or things if
yeah,
you're
or on the
a
chest
player.
because it's such a gamble that
Yeah. Yep.
if you get like an antler and you just spent, your gems that you worked really hard to save up.
Yeah, no, you could. I'd rather get an attraction. You can get some attractions for 75 gems. So
Yeah.
yeah, be frugal. Watch those 2 videos every day for the 2 gems. Watch the videos for the magic. I did that when I first started playing. You can watch like 5 or 6 videos a day to earn magic. So that's what I recommend. Hey Liv wants a shout out. What's up, Hey Liv?
Hey.
Hey Liv. All right, let's see. Tyler Rossett wants a shout out. Hi, what's up? Aiden, insert last name. Why are the TC prizes getting harder? I don't know. I think that the TC prizes are getting harder because the prizes for the free-to-play players of getting the single character, single attraction are staying the same. But for the people like that have everything or whatever, they were flying through these tower challenges and it was not difficult. And they want to keep people who are around a long time interested. You don't want to get us boring because if people like me are doing tower challenges and I'm just coasting through every tower challenge, I'll be bored with the game and I'll be done with it. They want to keep it interesting. They want to keep it fresh. There are quite a few people I know who are done. They have the whole storyline is done. Every side quest is done. So these are the only things they have to look forward to. So that is why I think they're making them harder. Okay. Jonah, any tip for getting gems in Magic quickly? Spend a lot of money. William D. We talked about William. And then finally Brandon. Can I get a shout out? What up, Brandon? Big B. What's going on? All right. So that is it for the questions. Thanks, everyone, for submitting them. We appreciate it. And as always, we'll take questions all week, and we'll talk about them on next week's show. All right. So time to wrap up. Things that happen around the kingdom. There were Snow White chests available for the usual price of 60 gems or $9.99 USD for a 6-pack. They were gone when the event began. Then the Lilo and Stitch chests became available for the first chapter, and they will be available for the entire event. So I assume we'll be getting Incredibles chests tomorrow, and that they'll be available for the rest of the duration of the event as well. And I expect Mulan chests to be available when that unlocks in 5 days. The magical chests were available that contained the tokens for characters that were helpers. They also had Maleficent coins and refresher tokens. They were only 25 gems a chest, or $4.99 for a bundle of 6. They are going away tomorrow, and something new will probably be popping up. I assume that ruby chests will be popping up in Chapter 3 with Mulan's warrior costume.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we had no new 5-star ratings or 5-star reviews. So please write in on and give us reviews. Very much appreciated. Shout outs this week. Shout out to Morgan, Lisa, and Ryan for being this week's Spotlight contributors to the group. You guys have really been participating a lot in the Facebook group and making the community even better. So thank you for everything and for just being part of the community. AGeekyChick, any shout outs?
Yes, I was going to give a shout out to Heather, Elaine, Kathleen, Brooke, Maribel, SJ Friday, Aiden, and just the people who have been commenting regularly on my videos. I appreciate you guys all the time. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, Aiden actually came over when you linked my new YouTube channel, and he came over and said, "Hey, hi, AGeekyChick sent me," and I remember him from our live streams as well. So shout out to you from me as well. Next week's show, not really sure. I've been trying to get in touch with Disney Girl for a while. She is not been responding. She's been having difficulties getting onto Discord. So it might be me. Maybe I'll grab AGeekyChick again and have her come back and we'll talk about more. I don't know what's going on next week. Stay tuned to my social media and we'll figure it out. But as always, I try to have a good guest on, and AGeekyChick is one of the best. So maybe we'll just have her on. If you want to be... All right, time to wrap it up. If you want to be more involved with the show, you can follow us on Twitter at ATKPodcast and like our Facebook page at facebook.com/ATKPodcast. Here you'll find out before anyone else about breaking news that we hear, information on contests and giveaways, when new shows are published, and of course my ramblings and photos from my day-to-day playing. The show's Facebook group is up, and it's a great way to interact with me and other fans of the show as we talk about our favorite game. The link to our group will be in the show notes, and you can also find them on the show's main Facebook page. Also, you can write into the show. Our email address is aroundthekingdompodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you think about the show, what's working, what's terrible, or any other topic you want to write in about, or even if you just want to say hi. We're now on YouTube, so if you're listening to this podcast at home and you want to watch the show and see me and my awesome guests, please head on over and subscribe to our channel, like the video, and smash the bell to get notified when a new show goes live. The link to our channel will be in the show notes. If you want to help support the show, please head over to iTunes, subscribe to the podcast, and leave us a 5-star review. Doing so is quick and easy, it costs you nothing, but it helps us greatly to be seen by other people who can enjoy the show also. All 5-star reviews will be read at the end of each episode. Listening to the show is all we could really ask for, but if you do want to help support us in another way, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/aroundthekingdom. We are halfway towards our first goal to help the production of the show. So doing this is a great way to show your support for about $1 an episode. The page was just put up, so we'll be adding some cool rewards to the tiers of support, but for now you just get a special shout out at the beginning of each episode. Again, it's patreon.com/aroundthekingdom. The links will be in the show notes. The links also to all of AGeekyChick's social media will be in the show notes as well, so make sure you check her out. She will be tweeting her Discord channel too, so you can join that, where you can talk to lots of people about not just Disney Magic Kingdoms, but a lot of other Disney games as well. You can also check out her Facebook page, which is Disney Mobile Games. And Jason Headley is also he's an admin of that group too, right?
Yeah, we created it together.
Yeah, so they create awesome things together. And if you liked Jason, then you'll definitely want to check out the Disney Mobile Games Facebook group. I'm in there. It's a really cool group. So, all right. Thanks again for joining us this week. I am Stevesquirrel for myself and AGeekyChick. We hope you have a great night. Good luck in the Tower Challenge, and we will see you around the kingdom next week.
Bye, everyone.